I'm not loving the state of the game right now. The state of college football it's been in better places.
Unfortunately, at this point, it's kind of hard to disagree with that statement.
So I'm sure everyone at this point who's listening to this, if you don't live under a rock, you've heard about the Brendan Sorsby stuff with Texas Tech and the NCAA. I just want to say what a load of horseshit this is that he's allowed to play.
Mm. Again, another statement that's very hard to disagree with, but I would like to hear your take as to why. I mean, aside from the obvious of why, do you have any other reasons for this?
Well, I want to clear up some of the confusion because I see people saying it was a local judge that cleared Sorsby to play. It wasn't. It was a judge from Houston, almost like 400 miles away from Texas Tech.
Wasn't he
That
a Texas Tech graduate, though?
no, he's a Houston graduate.
Okay.
Yeah, so he has no ties to Texas Tech really, but I still think it's a load of nonsense. And I saw Cody Campbell, the big oil donor for Texas Tech, he was saying that he's trying to fix the sport and do everything he can, but he's also helping Sorsby pay for this like fight against the NCAA. This kid should not be allowed to play. I don't blame other schools for saying they're not going to play Texas Tech, but I'm sure you saw my thoughts that Georgia saying it. I think right idea, wrong messenger.
Yeah, I feel like that's where I draw the line with the teams refusing to play Texas Tech. That's just a little bit childish and outrageous to me. For the longest of times, I've been a huge Texas Tech defender, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like them. I enjoy watching them. Going back to the Mike Leach days, they've always been one of my favorite teams, and it's hard to defend the university in this situation. Like, obviously, they didn't know what they were signing up for when Sorsby transferred in. So I'll give them a pass on that. It's not like they knew. But the way they've handled it since then is wrong. And the same people who want Sorsby to play and, he should be on the field, he this, also condemn Pete Rose. And I've seen a lot of those comparisons on Twitter too. And it's like you can't have one or the other. He bet on his team, whether it was to win or lose, it doesn't matter. He should not be playing another down of college football again. If he wants to enter the supplemental draft, so be it. I don't know if I can see any teams taking a chance on him. He's certainly got the talent to warrant a pick, but with all the baggage that comes with it
Mm-hmm.
now, I just don't know how you could justify that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you go into the NFL supplemental draft, I think a team would take him. But just because the NFL, there's that saying that if Hannibal Lecter had ran a 4.4, they'd say he had an eating disorder.
Yeah,
So I think an NFL team could find a way to talk themselves into Brendan Sorsby. But
I
in
do.
college, there's just no reason for it.
No, and then you're going to have people who say, and rightfully so, the NCAA promotes sports betting. And in a way, they do. Like in New York State, you're not allowed to bet on player props. But you see ads for DraftKings during college football games. You see ads
Mm-hmm.
for FanDuel and all of that. And somebody will say, well, there's analysts out there like the Bear, Chris Felica, who does his own segments on when he was on College Game Day. I don't watch Big Noon Saturday a ton, so I don't know if he does them there or not. But I know
Mm-hmm.
Stanford Steve does now also. Of, oh, take this guy, take that guy. Guess what? I don't care. They can do that. If someone like Kirk Herbstreit wants to go and bet on Ohio State to win a game, and I'm using that as an example because that's his alma mater,
Mm-hmm.
go for it. I don't care. He can't put on the pads and affect the outcome of that game. Sorsby can. You're telling me that he's had what was it, $46,000 in gambles? Is that correct?
I think it was 90,000.
Oh, good lord! So the number's gone up even since the last time I've seen it. So you're
Yeah.
telling me that in order to recover some of that money, he wouldn't put the over on himself throwing 1.5 interceptions, and he just so happens to throw 2 picks against Oklahoma State? Like, come on now! He should not be allowed to play.
No, not at all. And like, how as a teammate do you trust him, right? I mean, sure, according to everything we've seen, he's never bet on his own, never bet on a game he's played in. All
He
right.
bet on Indiana when he was there.
Yeah, but he didn't play in any of those games.
It
That's
doesn't
what the
matter.
I know, but
It
he
doesn't
was he was
matter.
the third string. He didn't play in any of those games. I will say where it gets a little iffy. They said one time he did bet on the under in his team's passing yards. That's kind of like where it starts to get a little funny.
Exactly. And so what if he's not on the field? You're telling me he's not going to go up to his coach and like oh, coach, watch the linebacker. This is a good opportunity to run. And if the coach is worth anything, he's going to say, well, no, this isn't. But as a quarterback who's on the field, especially at that point, as a third string guy, like he's probably seeing a lot of reps with the practice squad or the whatever you call it in college. But he's got the ear of coaches if he's on the team to some degree.
I'll share this before maybe we move on from Sorsby or move off it a little bit. I had a friend who played D1 college football, right? I'm not going to say the school because then obviously you'll know who I'm talking about. He texted us the one day and said it was a Friday night before they played Army. He said all of our linebackers have been out drinking. It was like 2 a.m. He texted us. He said they're going to run all over us tomorrow. So we all bet on Army's over. They scored like 60 points and had 600 yards rushing. He was not lying.
Yep, there you go. There's something to be said about the knowledge of, I don't want to say insider knowledge, but you know where I'm trying to go with that.
Yeah,
The one thing that really bothers me and really aggravates me is now these schools are refusing to play Texas Tech. Like the SEC is going to step up and say we're not playing them in any sport. Which, okay, you know what? Like when NIL wasn't a thing and you had these schools going and illegally paying players, that was all right. But now that it's a level playing field, and if you want to argue it's not a level playing field, I'll accept that, I guess, because Texas Tech and the oil donors and everything, like Tech brings in a huge amount of NIL. Their softball program next year, I don't know how closely you follow that. They're going to go on an unbelievable run because they're just going to destroy the transfer portal this year. So now you already have teams saying we're not going to play them in this sport, we're not going to play them in that sport. To me, I think that's a cop-out. Why are you not going to play them? Just because they're a little more privileged than you? That's a little rich for a program like Georgia, who's been more privileged than a lot of programs for the last 15 years. Or
You,
Alabama, or Ohio State, don't you think?
you know what bothers me about Georgia being the ones to say it? I looked. They have not played Indiana in football in 30 years. The last time they've played Indiana, last time they played Texas Tech. Last time they played Texas Tech in any sport was 2020 in women's basketball. So like you're making this statement that you're not going to schedule them. You barely schedule them anyway. So like, what is the big deal?
Exactly, because, and I know SEC fans are going to hate this, and Chandler, shout out, I know you're going to be pissed when I say this. That's because SEC teams like Georgia, unless they're playing Georgia Tech, which is a rivalry game that's locked in, like SEC teams generally have piss running down their leg when they schedule another Power 5 conference opponent. They don't do it that much. They choose to play Chattanooga in the last week of the season, or they choose to play VMI for some reason. But instead, maybe go after some of these big dogs. You know what's really going to shut Texas Tech up? If you go on the field and whip their ass. You know what's not going to shut them up? Not playing them, because then they're going to say, well, they won't play us because they're scared. And guess what? You come off looking scared.
Yeah, and I'll say the one thing that bothers me about Alabama, I saw people saying Alabama should say it. Brother, last year in the NCAA tournament, Alabama had a player under investigation for murder get an injunction to continue playing March Madness games.
Yeah, but he didn't bet on the over-under, so I guess that's okay.
Yeah,
See, and that's just it. That's why that is why part of this is so frustrating, because you have players in, of course that's an extreme situation. But again, to go back to Georgia, how many guys are getting in trouble for speeding? Doesn't have an impact on the game, but you got guys in trouble. So like you can't say, "Oh, this guy did something illegal, he shouldn't play," but ignore our guys doing something illegal.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I know it's nitpicking. Like I said, I said the same things you're saying right now about Georgia and Alabama yesterday on Twitter. People are not happy. I don't think Sorsby should be eligible. There's no way he should be eligible. But the programs have their own problems.
No, I agree with you 100%. Sorsby should not be eligible. He shouldn't play another down of college football. And realistically, I don't know if I'm an NFL team if I trust him with anything. I wouldn't want him around. However, to quote the great Macho Man Randy Savage, you may not like it, but accept it. He's going to be playing this year. He's going to be missing games against, I believe it's Abilene Christian and Oregon State. Those are going to be cake games for Texas Tech. Sorry to say to those other programs. Those are going to be easy games. So you can either whine and cry about it and say, oh, we're going to boycott the game, which, by the way, to the Big 12, if you do decide to boycott those games, that's a forfeit, which means it's a win for Texas Tech, which means they go into the playoff. Did you really prove anything?
Yeah, no, you definitely you didn't. You're only hurting yourself. Like I said, I saw that they said one. I'm pretty sure it was Kenny Dillingham, by the way. He said that he hopes Sorsby's eligible all season because he wants to beat the Joker with his arm or something like that.
And that's the exact kind of attitude that every coach or team should have. If Texas Tech is on your schedule or there's a chance of you playing them come December or January, that's the attitude you should have.
Yeah, no, you definitely should. I think it's awesome that he said that, by the way. I'm not sure it was Dillingham because it said anonymous Big 12 coach, but I could just hear him saying that.
You know, that I would look also to the other side of Arizona.
Yeah?
Yeah, I could totally see that coming from Brent Brennan.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Think about it this way: Brent Brennan is a Rick Neuheisel clone. That's a Rick Neuheisel comment. By the way, Rick Neuheisel got fired from UCLA
The March
for being in a March Madness bracket. He
March
was
Madness
in a
bracket.
bracket in a sport he doesn't even coach, and he lost his job. Just to show you how far we've come in the last, how long ago was that? 15 years? Got fired for being in a March Madness bracket, yet Brendan Sorsby can bet on his own team to win or lose or do whatever. It doesn't matter. He's placing the bet.
Mhm.
And 2 games, and you're totally fine.
Yeah, look at this one. Ex-Iowa captain career ended over a $10 Caitlin Clark bet. He got suspended the entire season, couldn't play at Iowa because he self-reported a $10 bet on Caitlin Clark. A women's basketball bet as a football player. And he was ineligible the entire season. One $10 bet.
See, it's all or nothing, and you either allow every bet to happen or you allow 0 bets to happen. And until this gets figured out, unfortunately, this is going to get nothing but worse.
Yeah. And this is the best way. Kirk Ferentz called the suspension silly. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I would agree.
I know I saw this too, that the judge said that like Sorsby has to continue going to the rehab for his gambling, but also I believe because of the wording they can't bench him for more than 2 games now because it says they'll do irreparable injury to his career.
How?
It's
That's
he
what
did
I
this to
don't
himself.
understand.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like before you move on, everyone says like, oh, why is Texas Tech moving on, brother? They're paying Brendan Sorsby $5 million this year. If you think they're not going to defend their $5 million investment, like they're not getting that money back.
Exactly. Texas Tech is in a position, and again, it's an even playing field now, even if it's not. Texas Tech is in a position where they can go out and they can buy any player they want. They've done it in football, they're doing it in basketball, they're going to do it in softball. Who knows what's coming next? Next year's transfer portal, if Texas Tech has another first round playoff exit this year, and that's assuming they make the playoff this year, because I think they do. But if they don't, or if they have another embarrassing first round loss, what is that portal number, that NIL number, going to look like next season for Texas Tech?
Yeah, they're gonna have unlimited money. Unlimited money.
Exactly. And this is a situation that's been going on in college football for years, but the difference is now we know about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing too. The NLI issue. I mean, let's talk about. We want to talk about the NCAA versus court thing. One more thing I wanted to say. Everyone's mad that Texas Tech got an injunction from a judge for a player to play. A lot of people from the South. 3 SEC schools in the last 3 months have taken the NCAA to court, by the way, for player eligibility. Trinidad Chambliss was one. I think Florida did it too, I think. This happens all over. The NCAA says, no, you can't do that. And these schools run to a local judge, and the judge says, oh, yeah, sure, you could do that.